Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Hey, welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast, a full 3 hours of the Kim Komando Show, but it's a lot shorter than that without the interruptions and commercials. Thank you for being a Komando community member. Here's hour one for the weekend of April 22nd, 2023.
And I always like to begin with something interesting. And I have to tell you, I have run a few marathons in my life, and they are tough. They are so tough. And that's why this story about a marathon runner and a GPS totally got my attention. See, with all the tech with today's races, it's not uncommon that you can follow your favorite person or somebody in your family step by step on an app or maybe over at the race website. Now, at this race that happened in the UK, tracking data showed a particular runner moving 1 mile in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Wow, a mile in 1 minute and 40 seconds? What's going on? Okay, that's 2 full minutes faster than the world record. And everybody's like going, what's happening in this race? Where is this person? Well, as it turns out, that runner got a little bit of help during that mile. Yes, they jumped in a car for a lift. Isn't that crazy? Oh, sure, nobody's ever going to notice this. No, 1 minute, 40 seconds. Oh, let me tell you, the last marathon I ran, I picked up a new pair of shoes right before I did it. Wow, talk about the agony of defeat. Yes, and on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. You've tapped into the nation's largest show about all things digital, your most trusted source. And to all of our listeners out there, welcome aboard. We're thrilled to have you joining us. And for all of our returning listeners, welcome back. We're grateful for you to be with us time after time. And don't forget, you can catch my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States, as well as on your favorite radio app. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 incredible U.S. service members serving in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, however you're listening, just want to make sure that you're all ready because we're going to dive right in. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And if you're just too dang shy to come on a big-time radio show and podcast, I totally get that. You can drop me your questions over at komando.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. All righty, every single day I visit at least, I counted 32 different websites to make sure that we're both up to date on all things digital. And this is part of the show where I like to talk about the news. And we're going to start with Elon Musk. He went on Fox News' Tucker Carlson this past week. And I tell you, I had a chance to see part of the interview. But the thing that I found most interesting is that he's going to be building an AI chatbot rival to ChatGPT, which, by the way, he had a piece of many years ago. He's going to call his Truth GPT. He says that his AI is going to speak nothing but the truth. Now, if we go back in time just a little bit, Elon's been saying for years that AI could end civilization. And he's not alone in that. I mean, there was that open letter. Nothing really happened with it, but a bunch of experts, scientists, leading tech folks urging AI to just like put on the brakes a little bit. So, but not many people remember also that Elon Musk has been involved in AI for so many years. So his big issues with ChatGPT is that it's selective in what it wants to share. It can be programmed to lie. Yeah, I remember that. Remember I was telling you about that? ChatGPT. I said, is Kim Komando her real name? And ChatGPT said, oh, no, her name is Kimber and Tomney, not Kim Komando, and went on this whole thing about how I changed it 20, 30 years ago. No, I was born Kim Komando. All right. So other than that, ChatGPT, it's all good to go. Yikes. Number 2 on our list, Google is gagging. Google search, the king of all search sites, is losing its crown. I never thought I would ever say that ever. Now, another bad sign for Google, a New York Times story says Samsung might be ditching Google as its default search site in favor of Bing. Oh my gosh. That's another thing I would never thought I would ever say, because ChatGPT is integrated into Bing. Now, Bing says that it has crossed 100 million daily active users a month. That's amazing. Okay. You know, all of us in the tech field thought that Bing was nothing other than just a major embarrassment for Microsoft. Now, this Samsung decision is a really big deal. That's why I'm passing along. $3 billion a year contract going to Microsoft instead of Google. And let me tell you this, the stock market felt that this past Monday, Alphabet, which is Google's parent company, lost massive amounts of money in value. $57 billion because of that Samsung announcement. Wow, $57 billion. I don't know about you, but I get upset when I lose $57 at a blackjack table in Vegas. Okay, $57 billion. Can't even imagine that. All right, number 3, how about getting some bucks from the Zuck? That's right. Facebook, as we all know, is going to have to cough up $725 million in a settlement. Well, apparently, Facebook has violated our privacy, and the lawyers went after them. What a shocker. Facebook denies everything, of course, but they're saying we avoided the settlement to make sure that we didn't have to go to trial. As it turns out, Facebook didn't bother to monitor or enforce how third parties would access all of our data. Yes, we're always so safe with our data on Facebook. So how much money can you get? It depends on a few things. 1, how many people submit claims, and 2, how long you've had a Facebook account. They came up with kind of this funky way of you get points for every month that you've had an account between May 24th, 2007 and December 22nd, 2022. So if you do the math, about 250 million to 280 million people are eligible for payments. So I wouldn't get too excited about being able to plan that next tropical vacation on the money that you're going to get from Facebook. And how much is this lawsuit really going to hurt them? Not very much, because Facebook is worth $500 billion. So the lesson here, Meta never met a time that they didn't want to collect all of our data and sell it. Coming in at number 4, what about the kiddos? The U.S. government is trying to figure out how to ban TikTok. One state took action this past week, Montana. You can use it if you already have downloaded it, but you can't download TikTok to your phone if you'd like to have it. I guess it's a step forward. That's, again, in Montana. And TikTok is like putting a Trojan horse for the Communist Chinese Party right on your phone. It is a national security threat. And there's also a threat to your kids. It's the most popular app for teenagers. Get this, 67% of teens use it every single day. And let's see, 16% of teens say they're on it all the time, 24/7. And of course, the content is dangerous, outrageous, encourages bad behavior for teens. This past week, such a sad story. The Benadryl challenge. I don't know if you heard about this. A 13-year-old kid died. You take all kinds of Benadryl pills to see if you can get high. Okay. Really, really harmful stuff. Matter of fact, 40 school districts across 10 states are suing TikTok for a mental health crisis, they say. Last, this coming in at number 5. Oh, the web we weave when we aim to deceive. All right. Hi, I'm sure you heard about this. Hundreds of highly classified Pentagon intelligence papers were leaked on this, a Discord chat group called Thug Shaker Central. Happy place. The papers revealed information about the war on Ukraine, political interests in other nations, and some big U.S. national security issues. Now, the guy who leaked them was a 21-year-old airman, first class Jack Douglas Texera. Now, there's still the question about how he was able to get all these documents, which I'd like to know, but how was he identified? This is really fascinating. His childhood kitchen table and his Instagram account. What? That's right. The New York Times visual investigations team said finding him was super easy. First, they found his Steam gaming profile through that Discord chat. Then from there, they found his Instagram account. Once they were there, they found the accounts of all his family members, otherwise known as social engineering. So on Instagram, they found pictures of Jack in front of the family's granite kitchen table, the same one that he also took photos of highly classified documents on. It has a distinct red and white pattern. So voila, okay. If he's convicted, he faces up to 15 years in prison. Not enough time, in my opinion. But how was he able to get all these documents? Well, one theory is that it's spring. He wasn't snowed in. All right, coming up in our digital privacy tip, there's a secret ID hiding on your phone I need to tell you about. Also, some tips about updating your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And of course, we have all of your phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And once again, just a quick reminder is that if you just want to drop me your question, just do it on the website. That's the easiest way. I know, a little old school. You want to leave them all over social media. Oh, too many places for me to track. Head over to komando.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. And before we get this hour underway, I just want to say a huge thank you from all of us here at the Kim Komando Show, and specifically all of us that are behind the scenes working on the Komando 2.0 newsletters, as we call them internally. Because you guys and gals complained. You said, hey, listen, we're tired of all the weird ads. We're tired of all the clicks. We just want to get a newsletter that tells us what we need to know right inside the newsletter. And so we have so many positive comments. It's really amazing. And again, thank you for all your kind words. And in case you haven't tried our newsletters, the new ones lately, that is, and maybe you subscribed in the past and you gave up because you said, oh, I don't like them. They're just too junky. You are going to love, love, love our newsletters. We've got 14,000 thumbs up and a couple of hundred thumbs down. So I think those are pretty good odds that you're going to like it. Head over to komando.com/subscribe. Once again, that's komando.com/subscribe. You're going to join over 400,000 people every single day that get our newsletters. That's komando.com/subscribe. Okay, we are in for such a special treat. It's a question that we get asked all the time here on the Kim Komando Show. How do I know if someone's stalking me? Maybe it's an ex. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's just some lunatic that you met online. How do you know if they're getting a copy of every single thing that you do on your computer, on your phone? It's crazy, isn't it, to think about that? Well, joining us here on the show is digital forensic expert and a friend of the Kim Komando Show, Rico Danielson. We're going to talk about all the clues that somebody's watching you. Hi there, Rico. Great. So tell me about some strange cyber stalking cases that you've been working on lately.
Okay, so I got 3 cyber stalking cases. We can go down the list real quick. I had a female executive in a very high firm in Atlanta, and her husband was being cyber stalked, and he's a very well-known radio personality. When they engaged us, they asked us, "Hey, Rico, we think this person's being cyber stalked. Here's the SMS messages. Here's the Facebook messages." And they're coming from a very generic Facebook Messenger account. Fantastic. Right. So what we did is we gathered all the information and we put it all together using a specific tool called Multigo. And it's a free tool. It's a Kali Linux tool. Brings all the metadata together for us to review at one point and one following point, and also spans everywhere so we can kind of take a look and figure out who's who and what's what. And some of the things that we noticed was that this individual has spent some time in California, also in Atlanta, and now this person's starting to come after them. And the way we were able to put that together is deconflicting IP addresses from publicly facing IP addresses to forward-facing IP addresses. That's one. User handler commonalities. A person's name was in the user handler as well. And then also, and then also where they were actually doing the cyber stalking and the cyber harassment from. It was predominantly a coffee shop and or a library that this person was using to conduct their attack.
Now, you mentioned something, Rico, and I want you to just delve into a little bit deeper, because everybody knows that we have an IP address, right?
Yeah.
But there are different types of IP addresses. Can you elaborate on that? Because you just mentioned like front-facing and different type of IP addresses. Right.
So you have an internal IP address and a publicly facing IP address. If we just break it down to the simplistic form, one is a NATed, natural address translation address, and the other one is an unnatted. So the unnatted would be something of 11110, right? And that is actually going out to the publicly facing area. And then the natted address is where it's more disguised, so you can kind of hold the privacy. At some point, your natted address has to go out from an unnatted address. So that means it might correlate back to Cox Communication, AT&T address, or some sort of service provider. And those service providers hold your IP address in there.
So this couple in Atlanta, did they go to the police?
They did. They actually went to the Atlanta police. Unfortunately, the police said that this was kind of out of their wheelhouse, out of their jurisdiction, because it was in California, Cyberstalker. And then on top of that, it was in Atlanta, but it was on the suburbs of Atlanta. So I believe we ran into this more specifically on our other case we worked a long time ago, where PD kind of was just out of their wheelhouse. And that's okay. The FBI is not going to pick it up because there's no amount of cyber extortion or $1 million extortion. So you have a use of labor force is just not there. And this is where we came into play and helped them out.
So was this person generally just harassing them? Were they making any type of threats?
Oh, yeah. So they were saying, hey, dude, if you don't come back to California and come see me or give me money or do this or give me gifts, I'm going to tell your wife that we had a relationship. At first, the wife didn't know that there was a relationship in the prior life before they got married, and that's okay. But at the same aspect, this person was trying to definitely extort the person for actions that they never even did in the first place.
Wow. So how long did it take you from start to finish?
So it took me about 2 months. What I actually had to do is jump in and understand the IP addresses, where they were coming from, and what was a commonality threat actor profile. What does this threat actor like to use? Anytime we see a cyber stalker, anytime we see a cyber professional threat actor, we don't know who they are, so we have to create a profile for them. Whether we name them, Pink Taco or Pink Mystic Leopard or whatever the case may be, we actually just design them a name and then we give them a profile. And we say, okay, now we have a face of the name. What do they like to do? They like to cyber stalk us. They like to use our metadata. They like to email us and IM us on these specific times and dates. Now we have a routine and modality, and now we have a time to capture that data.
So, we've talked about this before, Rico. I'm always so amazed at what you can do and how you can just funnel down into that. But people do kind of stick to a schedule, right? They
do, absolutely. Especially cyber stalkers stick to the schedule. Usually it's on off hours between 5 to 1 a.m., 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. Usually they want to inflict the most damage, the most headache, the most heart racing things during the time that they know you're with either the person or whenever you're at work.
Okay, here's the deal. Hey, Rico, we've got to take a quick break, play a few commercials, pay a few bills, but I want you to stay with us because there's a lot more that we all want to know about stalkers and how we can protect ourselves. Specifically, as a professional digital forensics expert, what should anyone do if they think that they're being cyberstalked? I mean, what are some steps? So hang on the line, folks, with all of us, because coming up, we have more of our conversation with Rico you don't want to miss. Hey, if you're just joining us, we've been covering a super important topic here on the Kim Komando Show, cyberstalking. And we've been in conversation with digital forensic expert and friend of the show, Rico Danielson. Hey, Rico, I really appreciate you being here.
This is kind of a weird one. A young lady has now been charged with cyberstalking. However, I don't believe, I'm just pure speculation right now. I believe that the Franklin PD did not do the job correctly because all they have is text messages, but they never did the CIA, the confidentiality, integrity, and availability behind those text messages. There was no hashes provided. So I think we might have a good likely possibility of a person that might be wrongfully charged.
Yeah, that's also interesting too about text messages. How do you determine if you just get a blank text messages, say from a burner phone, is there any way to track where that comes from?
Yeah, so there's different tools you can use. A couple of different ones is OSINT, right? Intelligence is another one you can use to plug in the number and see what comes of it. The other one I've been really frequently using is just a simple web browser of Firefox containers, right? They contain these things. What you do is you spin up your own container. It's like using a little black box, and you can punch in the phone number, and it gives you some metadata. You're still going to have to digest it. Now, on the other side, we do have tools such as Dark Owl, where we'll punch in the number and we'll see all the commonality strings of where this person or this fake text message is spawning from.
Okay, now this is kind of a strange question.
Sure.
You know, I get these calls on the show, and like, for example, there was a guy who would go into Texas. He was in Texas, and he claims that people were following him all around the town.
Yeah.
And people actually would know his name. And then I said, so, you know, what are they saying when you walk in? They say, hey, dude, how are you?
Okay.
And I said, so do you ever go by dude? And he says, yes, I do. And I said, well, you know, that's kind of just like something that people say. It's not really anything that I would be worried about. Right. I had a woman call, and she thought she was being stalked so much that she was afraid to leave her house. She thought that they were tracking her in her car. She was afraid to get on the phone, afraid to do anything, basically, that I thought, you know, this is surely just a case of mental illness versus anything that was real technical going on.
Right.
What are some telltale signs that if you get the phone call, you're like, well, this is probably something not for me, it's probably for somebody else?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I get plenty of those calls all the time, more so than not nowadays. The first question I ask is, one, is this what you think it is? Let's look at the logical deductive reasoning here. What evidence is telling you that you might be stalked? Not a feeling, but the evidence that's going to show up in court and says, hey, this person, Rico, is stalking me, and here's how I know how to prove it. Or is it just your hunch of suspicion? Because I would say that in the last 2 months, I've gotten 40 phone calls where people just kind of spiral out of control, and they've kind of lost their path a little bit and just say, I know I can't go anywhere. Here's what's going on. I'm always being stalked, but they have no substantial amount of evidence. So the bigger question would be, what is your substantial amount of evidence and non-reputable evidence? That means you have an IP address, you have a person's name, you have these IOCs, right? The indicators of compromise. Do you have those? And if you don't, then you just might be working off of a hunch.
So what do you think is the first sign that somebody is stalking you? What are some red flags?
You're going to start seeing anomalous activity on your web browser. You're going to start seeing anomalous activity like in emails. You're going to start getting some weird specific emails. Like, let's just say someone who wants to go after you for child support. You're going to start seeing those emails quite a bit come up, or those text messages or those contexts of text showing up in your life, whether it's advertisement, whether it's legal forms, whether it's more web browsing, or whether it's just content coming to you out of random, out of nowhere. At that point, you can start determining, hey, someone's coming for me for child support or something like that.
Wow, it's there's just so many different avenues to go after this if you think you're being stalked, right? I mean, and if you do think, what kind of documentation, what kind of evidence should you be keeping? Screenshots, of course. Anything else?
Yep, you should definitely be taking screenshots. You definitely want to capture the audit logs of any sort. Let's just say you have a router. You want to go ahead and pull those, export those logs, capture those. Anything that's going on your device at that given time. Let's just say you have a computer. You want to go ahead and export those security logs as well. The more evidence you have, the more you can paint this picture for law enforcement and also an attorney. It's going to be a lot easier. Now, that being said, expect somebody to come back and try to shoot that down and knock it down, because they're going to say, well, how'd you do it? Why'd you do it? And this is kind of where you want to bring in somebody who's a little bit more of an expert and understands, hey, this is how we do it. Here's our process, and here's why.
Are there any magical words to say when you do go to the police to get their attention?
Yeah, police talk about, they rightfully so should talk about public endangerment. If you can say the keywords, public endangerment, single person who might be in danger, fear for my life, child who might be in danger, or community danger. That's usually whenever law enforcement will kind of tune it up just a little bit, just to make sure they're checking that box and kind of go down the rabbit hole a little bit more.
Well, here we go. This has been so great. Now, I'm sure there are people listening right now saying, I need Rico in my life. I need Rico to help me. What's the best way for folks to get in touch with you, Rico?
Yeah, you can always Google me, right? Rico Danielson. And then you can always email me as well at my business account, ricod@firstresponder.us.
Wait, you know what? You're brave to give out your email address.
I am. I have a great email protection.
Wait, one more time for everybody who just missed that.
That's Rico, DRICOHD @1stresponder.us.
Got it. Rico, always a pleasure to have you on board. We need to keep in touch more often, promise?
You got it. Absolutely.
Hey, let's go ahead and do our weekly digital privacy tip, and it's brought to us by Total AV. We all know that advertisers and marketers, they are all tracking everything that they do, but maybe they don't know exactly who you are, or maybe they do. See, on your phone, there's something called the Mobile Advertising ID Identifier. Now, this is a tiny snippet of information that contains where you live, what you shop for, or what you recently searched for online. And it turns out that people online are selling a way to connect you or your real name and the rest of that information with that so-called random ID. So it's not really randomized anymore. Vice's motherboard discovered one company offers to link these numbers to a real person. It was one of the largest repositories, they say, of current, fresh maids in the United States. That MAID is that Mobile Advertising ID. So the information that the company can link to your ID includes your full name, your physical address, your phone number, your email address, and your IP address. And the fact that data brokers can connect these advertising IDs to mobile phone users is just a huge red flag. So what's the silver lining? Apple has something called App Tracking Transparency. And I can't really give you the steps here on the air because they're pretty convoluted. But it's all in the settings and the privacy and security, and then you're going to tap down into Apple advertising and look for something that says view ad targeting information. On Android, again, it's also hidden. It's in settings and Google, and then opt-out ads, personalization, and then they're going to see a string of zeros. And so for all these steps, just head over to my website, of course. That's komando.com, the official homepage of the show. And then there's a link that says Kim Show. And under there, you're going to have a direct link to this privacy tip about deleting the secret ID that's hiding on your phone that's giving away all your personal details. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls, as well as later on just an update on what you need to know about Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And, of course, more of your phone calls and more of me, Kim Komando. Hey, just a quick reminder to be sure that you follow us on social media. I am at Kim Komando everywhere, although you're going to see more personal stuff over at Instagram.com/Kim Komando than you will at Facebook or Twitter.com @Kim Komando. All right, back to the phones we go with Laura in Portland, Oregon.
Well, I'm planning a trip to Switzerland this summer, and I need to have
I'm jealous.
I know, it's going to be so great.
Let me tell you, Switzerland is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Switzerland is so beautiful. It is. So why did you pick Switzerland?
I picked Switzerland because the last time I was there for just 2 days, and we went from Basel to Lucerne, I could not keep my face off the window of the train. It was just so gorgeous.
Oh, my God. Lake Lucerne? Isn't that one of the most beautiful places on the planet?
It is. And, just the train ride there, I was like, oh, my gosh, this is fairyland. So.
Well, it's a couple of years ago, my son and I, what we do is re-rent cars and we drive through Europe. And so like we landed in Milan and then we ended up in Baden-Baden. But through that, we went through we actually put our car on a ferry in Lake Lucerne and went from one side to the other. And the water it's like this
turquoise
sky crystal. Yes, it's just this weird color from all the minerals. I mean, I'm so excited for you that you're able to do that and go back because it's so wonderful.
Oh, my gosh. It's amazing.
So you want to take your phone because you need your phone. Everybody needs your phone, right?
Right. I'm going to be checking train schedules, ferry schedules, and I also need my cell phone active, too, so I can call back and check on my animals and things here. So
what kind of phone do you have?
It's a Samsung S21 Ultra.
Oh, nice. Okay. So that accepts an eSIM card. Okay. So basically what you're going to do is in Switzerland, the big carrier is called Swisscom. And they have others, Sunrise or Salt, but Swisscom is the biggest. And I always like to stay with the biggest when I'm traveling. And so what you do is you can buy an eSIM card online, or you can buy it when you get there. They sell them in the airports and they sell them in the convenience stores. I mean, this is pretty common now. And then when you buy it in Switzerland, or if you buy it here, and then you can just, when you land, it will turn on automatically, by the way, is that there's going to be there's going to be a QR code, and then that's how you activate the eSIM card. It's really simple. This is not a big technical thing that you need to worry about. Then what you need to worry about, then what you need to think about is how much data do you really need? And then that's where you want to look at the plans. If you're going to be streaming music and video because you can't wait to see Your Honor or Succession or Yellowstone or whatever it is that you're watching, is that you're going to want anything more than, say, 2 gigs. And then to make phone calls, that eSIM plan is going to include voice calls, but just make sure that it does. And then, as I mentioned, once it's all set up, when you land, is that your phone will come on and say, hey, welcome to Switzerland. And you're like, okay, I don't want you to use the United States carrier. I want you to use the eSIM. And then give you that option, and then you'll have to text yes or no. It's pretty self-explanatory once you get the eSIM card. Like I said, there are places for you to buy it here in the United States. We'll send you some links. And then you can also buy it anywhere that you go, and you can add more data anywhere that you go in Switzerland. Because let me tell you, the Swiss have the tech going on. They do, Laura. It's pretty amazing. Like, even when you go down, I was thinking of, like, my son and I, we parked in a garage, not near Lucerne. I forget where. Maybe it was in Basel. And I was trying to figure out how to pay for the parking. And so I thought for sure, like, we would pay for parking on the way out. No. So we went into the out, and then all these cars piled behind us because we couldn't figure out how to pay for the parking. Then I had to get out of the car. Like, like the stupid American, get out of the car and go, okay, everybody needs to back off. Okay, back up, because we need to figure out how to park, how to pay for this. Anyway, it turns out that Ian parked the car, and then I ran upstairs, and then you pay for the parking, like, in the main square, and then you get out of the parking garage. So just these little things that, you learn in life as you travel internationally, which is crazy. Just be sure that you are really careful using any public Wi-Fi networks. And make sure you don't do any banking, any good stuff like that. You can use a VPN, of course, and we recommend ExpressVPN. But, how fun are you going to be on that trip? And we'll send you some links. As far as a cost in Switzerland, you're probably looking at $20 for 7 days of unlimited calls, data, and text by using that eSIM, which reminds me of a bad joke about Switzerland. You ready for it? Did you know that Darth Vader's cousin lives in Switzerland and drives a cab? Did you know that Darth Vader's cousin lives in Switzerland and drives a cab? Yeah, he's called a taxi Vader. Get it? I know, that was bad. All right, so the FBI and everybody was all out this past week about how you shouldn't use USB ports because of juice jacking in, say, your airports and hotels and coffee shops or anywhere that there's just a charging station. Well, I have another important update that you need to know. Even if you're a security wizard, just remember that your other devices need protection too. Probably your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth also need an update at this very moment. And these updates fix security problems in the software and apps on your device. But what about the inner workings? Well, driver updates. Now, these drivers are these little files that tell your device how to behave. And if you don't keep them up to date, well, guess what? The hackers and the scammers and the thieves know this, and your tech and your files could be vulnerable. So here's what you need to do. On your computer, take a look inside Device Manager. Once you're in there, go to the website of the manufacturer of that device and download the latest driver software. Now, here's a pro trick, and I know that you're pro because you're listening to the Kim Komando Show. Search the site using the name of your device and an update, and then install the software, your firmware updates, and then boom, that's it. You're protected. Now, if you learn just one thing this entire show, I want you to do me a solid and make sure that you tell at least 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show, because that always helps. And knowledge is power, and you can find me always at Komando.com. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise. home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the Kim Komando Show podcast. Thank you for listening and being a Komando community member. This is for the weekend of April 22nd, 2023, and here's hour 2.
I always like to start with something interesting, and on our television the other night, a new app just appeared out of nowhere. I'm like, wow, what is that? And I wanted to let you know in case it just pops up on your TV as well. It's called Freevee. Now, you probably forgot all about the Internet Movie Database. It's been around for so many years. It's actually owned by Amazon right now, and they rebranded it, so it's not IMDb anymore. It's called Freevee, so that this way you can watch shows and movies. But, of course, it's free. What's the catch? There are commercials. You're super smart. It has about the same number of commercials as on a standard network television show. But if you think about it, Amazon now has all the streaming services covered because Amazon Prime has no commercials, and their new Freevee does have commercials. Now, with Freevee, you definitely see all the ratings on the various shows and movies. But I want you to be super careful of any movies that are rated 3.14. Yes, I want you to avoid any movies rated 3.14. The reason why is they might be pirated. Yeah, sometimes I just crack myself up. And on that happy note, welcome to the Kim Komando Show. I am, of course, America's beloved digital goddess, Kim Komando, here with you once again. It's the largest, most trusted show about all things digital, and you got to buckle up, tech lovers, because everything under the sun is now a tech thing, even that trusty toothbrush all the way to your car. So whether you're a new listener or you're an old pro, get ready to level up your tech smarts with us, and welcome to the party. You can find my award-winning show on over 420 top radio stations throughout the United States. We're streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can find us as a podcast, a webcast inside the Komando community that you can sign up over on the website at Komando.com, of course. And a special shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio that serves more than 375,000 American servicemen and women and the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries. Thanks for listening, guys and gals. And I'm sure you have at least a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And as always, you can drop me your questions over on the website. I read every single note that you send me at Komando.com. And in the upper right-hand corner of the homepage, there's a link that says Email Kim. All right, every single day I go to over 30 different websites to make sure that I'm up to date on everything that's happening in the tech world, so I can make sure that you guys and gals are up to date on everything in the tech world. And this is part of the show where I like to talk about consumer tech. Now, picking out your new phone is a personal event, isn't it? I mean, it's a direct reflection of who you are. Are you Android or Apple? Or maybe you even want some type of Linux-based phone. Now, according to a recent article in the Wall Street Journal, I thought this was pretty interesting that even the colors you choose for your new phone says a lot about your personality. Now, for example, I have a gold iPhone. That means I'm stable, of course. What about if you get a brand new yellow iPhone? That means you're bubbly and you're happy and you have a big, bright smile. Lavender, they say that you appreciate life's complexities. Or maybe you're just a huge fan of Taylor Swift's song, Lavender Haze, okay? Now, what about if you have a red iPhone? That means that you're confident, you're bold, you're fiery. Now, what if you are intelligent or community focused? What do you think that color is? Green. That means you have a green iPhone. Now, if you have a lighter shade of green, that means you're more empathetic. Now, if you have a black iPhone, that means you're just classy. Think like the little black dress of iPhone colors. Now, I wish orange was a common color for Android phones. Yes, orange for Android phones, because that would make it so much easier for me to compare them to Apple's. I know you laughed. All right, number 2, pump up the volume. I can't tell you how many times I had to go back and forth until I just put on the closed captions for the show Tulsa. I don't know about you, but I have really trouble understanding Sylvester Stallone when he's talking. It's nuts. Now, here's the deal. A lot of these shows have been made for big theaters that have these massive Dolby audio systems, not just little sound bars. Now, if you have a Prime account, this is something that you need to know about. They have a new feature called Dialogue Boost, and it will change the way that you watch Prime shows on your TV. No more skipping back and forth to hear what somebody's saying or just throwing on those closed captions. Now, with Dialogue Boost, you can increase the volume of the dialogue as compared to what's going on in the background and all the noise and the gunfire and stuff like that. It's all done by, you ready? Artificial intelligence, of course. Now, this is all great and good, but what's the downside? Yeah, I always want to give you the downside too. It's only available for Amazon Prime shows and movies like Jack Ryan and The Big Sick. They still haven't fixed Sylvester Stallone's voice. It's still a little rocky. Number 3 in our list. Oh, honey, have you noticed how much little Johnny is just loving reading on the Kindle? Maybe little Johnny's not reading. Parents of the world, listen up. If your kid has developed a sudden interest in reading on a Kindle, they may not be reading Little Bo Peep. They might be reading the X-rated of Little Bo Peep. X, that's right. As it turns out, there's erotic fan fiction and porn on the Kindle. Some of the titles available: Amateur Naked Girls. I wonder what that's about. 2 families told Reuters this week that their preteen sons downloaded smut through Amazon's Kindle Unlimited ebook subscription. Talk about being on fire. Next on our list, number 4, something more dangerous than the public USB ports. We've told you about USB juice jacking for, I think, years on the Kim Komando Show, and the FBI just came out last week and said, we have to tell you about something called juice jacking. I was like, yeah, where you been? Well, a friendly reminder about fake public Wi-Fi networks. Here's how these networks get you. You just go into a free Wi-Fi cafe, restaurant, hotel, whatever it may be, and you get a prompt to join the network. You're like, oh, sweet, I can get on the Wi-Fi, and that's going to be so much better for me. But unbeknownst to you, that's not the official Wi-Fi network of wherever you're located. It's a fake Wi-Fi network. And the hackers or the scammers, we're going to call them the thieves that set up the fake network, they are able to get every single thing that you type in to your computer once you're on the fake network. So think username, passwords, whatever you have it. So bottom line here is always make sure that you're signing on to the correct Wi-Fi network. And take a look at the signal strength. A really strong signal is a good indicator that network is legit. And of course, if you're ever on public Wi-Fi, you always want to use a VPN. And last, this coming in at number 5, the one celebrity that didn't fall for it and shook it off. That's right. Talking about the big FTX scandal. And that celebrity is, are you ready? Taylor Swift. Remember when all kinds of celebrities were out there hawking crypto everywhere? I'm talking about Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary, shame on you. Shaquille O'Neal, shame on you. Stephen Curry, Tom Brady, his ex-wife Giselle, Larry David. They all made big money just schlepping crypto, the FTX. Well, there was that big collapse in November. All kinds of lawyers got involved. There are all these class action lawsuits and other lawsuits. But let's talk about the celebrities' financial advice. Now they are finally being held accountable. Isn't this fabulous? I mean, it's something that I've had to live with for all the years I've been doing the Kim Komando Show. A sponsor comes in, I have to make sure I check them all out. I talk to the CEO, I do my due diligence, I may buy the product myself 9 times out of 10 to make sure that it is. And if it's not a product that I can't buy physically, I'll make sure that I try the service. Well, these celebrities, they didn't care. They just took the money and they thought that they could run, but they couldn't. Now, Taylor Swift, and all you Swifties should be proud, they wanted to offer Taylor Swift $100 million. $100 million. That's a lot of bank for her to endorse and get behind FTX. Now, according to the lawyers behind the lawsuit, she was the only one who said, are these unregistered securities? Is this what's going on? Turns out that Taylor's father is an investment banker, so he obviously passed along some good trades to her. The crypto was classified as a security by the SEC, which meant it had to be registered, and it wasn't. And by promoting FTX, celebs were pushing unregistered securities, and now they're paying fines. It's not very much, really. It's $50,000, $1 million. These people are is just absolute nothing. But here's a pro tip. If a girl in a hot bikini ever DMs you about crypto, you know what you need to do? Just ignore them. All right, coming up, I have an insider secret on how you can save big money on all these subscriptions because, gosh, doesn't it feel like every time you turn around, somebody's saying, like, this is $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month. Not so. We have our trivia. Also, in our money tip, we have the best place to find movies, books, and audiobooks. And also, we're going to tell you how you can set up your smartphone to save your life. And, of course, we have more of your phone calls that you don't want to miss. And me, Kim Komando. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. Always love to hear from you. And just a quick reminder that you can always drop me your questions on the website. That's Komando.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. I read every single note that you guys and gals send me. And speaking of the website, we have totally revamped our newsletters. And I just want to say thank you for all your kind words. It's been a labor of love. It's taken us a lot of time to do every single issue, and I'm hoping that we can streamline that soon. But here nor there, if you haven't checked out our new newsletters, Komando 2.0 newsletters, maybe you got our newsletters in the past and you just hated them. There were so many of them. Well, all those days are gone. It's over. Head over to Komando.com/subscribe. That's Komando.com/subscribe, and we're not going to sell, lease, distribute your email address to anybody, and you can unsubscribe at any time, but I don't think you're going to want to do that. That's Komando.com/subscribe. RJ in Miami, glad to have you with us.
I just want to first say that I love your testimony when you went from HP and breaking into the radio business. That's so awesome. It reminds me of my mom when she raised four of us, how tough you were to get where you're at. So I want to compliment you on that.
Thank you, RJ. That's sweet. Thank you.
And the other thing right now is I'm from the military, so we use a phrase, adapt and overcome. My Toshiba is about to crash, and I have a first-generation Komando tablet with the wireless Bluetooth keyboard. So what I want to do is I want to see if I could bring that into 2023, because like if I go to a service, I want to use it to research the Bible, take notes, and also, unfortunately, I got to use it for video conferences. Because as a military person, I just been diagnosed with cancer, so I have to use it to.
It's okay. Tell me, you need to use it for what?
Talk to the doctors.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So what I want to do is try to put a workstation together, like I said. In the military, we got our tools to make things work. So that's where I'm at now. So I just wanted your opinion on that. Can I still use it now? Because, I love it. It looks very nice the way you designed it and everything. And I just want to put it to work because it's been on the shelf. And now
here's the problem, RJ, is that was probably in 2014. And I know it's hard to believe, but that was 9 years ago, Yeah. Gosh, time flies so fast, doesn't it? Just like a nanosecond. It's no longer supported by Android or, it's grossly out of date. Even if you could flash it and do that, the hardware's still almost 10 years old. And if you think you have shoes that are 10 years old, now try to think of 10-year-old technology. Wow, look at how different it is today versus last year or 2 years ago, what we have in front of us. So So what you need is you need a decent Chromebook, okay?
Right.
or a decent laptop. Now, Chromebook will only allow you to get on the web or pretty much use the Chromebook when you're attached to the internet or using Wi-Fi. Do you think everywhere you go you're going to have Wi-Fi?
I think so nowadays because of the way the technology is. Every place you go, they say, hey, do you want to link into my Wi-Fi? But that's also scary nowadays, too, for security purposes.
Yeah, it is. But, as long as you're using VPNs and you have some security and you're not, doing dumb stuff like using an open Wi-Fi network and doing your banking or anything like that, I think it's pretty safe. Let me ask you a question. What kind of cancer have you been diagnosed with?
It's lymphoma. So right now, for the past few months, I've been going through the chemo, the whole... it's a good thing I'm from the military because it's like overwhelming. So I have to take a deep breath and then get educated in everything, what a chemo chair is, what a chemo cycle is, day 1, day 2, and then I asked the nurse to write down all the stuff that they're putting inside me and, all the side effects.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. My mom had pancreatic cancer. It's just a horrible, horrible thing. Now, the good news is that I've read recently that it looks like we're getting closer to a cancer vaccine, which I'm super excited about. But what I'd like to do, RJ, is I'm gonna send you a laptop, okay, for free. And so this way you can video conference and you can keep notes and put on some maybe a medical app so that this way you can track all your records and have access to the Epic system and do things like that. So what do you think?
God bless you, because you're going to make me.
Okay, RJ. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm here for you, bud. I'm here for you. Okay? I'm here to help you. Okay? I'm just not some person on the radio. I want to help you out. So I'm going to put you on hold, and then we're going to figure out the best laptop to send you, RJ, and if you need any help getting it set up, just know that I'm always here for you. Okay? And thank you for your service in the military. We appreciate that too. Now, they say the average person pays around $219 a month on subscriptions. But here's a secret. If you have a library card, you should be using a service like Libby because there you can borrow new, old ebooks and audiobooks from your local library. Now, if you don't have a library card, don't freak out. Don't worry about it. Just download the Libby app, and then it's going to say, hey, do you have a library card? And you're like, no, I don't. They will actually help you go get your free library card so that you can get these ebooks and audiobooks and movies and a whole bunch more. We've got links to Libby over on the website at komando.com. Hey, stay right where you are. Our trivia question of the week is coming up that you don't want to miss. All right, get your brain cells ready for an epic challenge with Commanding the Tech World Trivia. Now, let me tell you, this is not your granny's bingo night. We're bringing the heat up with this brain-busting questions that we're going to put your noggin to the complete test. And then to add to the excitement, we have a special guest contestant ready to take on the challenge because she wants the grand prize, and it's a big one. It's a official Kim Komando Show fanny pack. Yes, it's priceless. And then also you get a free bag of Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend dog food, a value of $59.95. And joining us this week is Sandra from Phoenix, Arizona. Hello there, Sandra.
Hello.
So what do you do in Phoenix?
Well, I write books.
And what kind of book?
Mostly contemporary romance.
Ooh.
I've just released book number 6 called Danger in the Desert.
Ooh. I bet you there's love in that desert, is there?
Yes.
Great. All right. Have you ever taken an Uber?
Yes.
Of course you have. Okay, the idea for Uber, and this is our trivia question, came from a very frustrating experience that the co-founder, Travis Kalanick, had trying to find a taxi in Paris back in 2008. He and his friend Garrett, they came up with the idea for a mobile app that would allow you to hail and pay for rides, and then they launched Uber Cab. They later shortened to Uber in San Francisco in 2010. Okay, so So here's our question. How many Uber rides, Sandra, in total worldwide did they do last year? I want you to think about every single country, every single driver. How many rides did they do in total worldwide last year? Don't worry, you don't have to know the math. I'm going to give you 4 options, okay?
Okay.
Is it, I know you're like, I don't know what that would be. Okay, so here's our 4 options, okay? Is it 3.79 billion, 4.98 billion, 6.36 billion, or 7.64 billion? Let me give you those again. And we're going to lose the points, okay? So is it 3 billion, 4 billion, 6 billion, or 7 billion annual trips last year that were driven by Uber? What do you think that number is?
I'm guessing it's 7 billion.
So final answer, Sandra?
Yeah, 7.
Okay, final answer, 7.64 billion. Going for the big prize, the Kim Komando Show fanny pack and the Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend. Let's go to the judges. What do you think? You won, Sandra, you won. That's right, 7.64 billion.
Yay.
Imagine that, you go from 0 rides to almost 8 billion in 12 years. That's just that's crazy. I mean, that's really something.
Amazing.
They generated about $32 billion in revenue last year. I got to tell you this, Sandra. I saw a guy ordering an Uber as he left the gym the other day. So I asked him, do you even lift? Get it? All right. Sorry about that. All right. So what's going on with you?
Well, I receive in my junk mail something that says it's from the Microsoft account team, that someone has logged in to my account from Russia. But I think it might be a scam, but I'm not sure how to tell if it's a scam.
Well, I bet you 99% of it's a scam. Okay. But there are ways to check, and it's super easy to do. Is that you go to your Microsoft account security page, which is going to be, we'll send you this. You don't have to write it down, but you're going to go to account.microsoft.com/security. And then there's a tab that says recent activity. And that's where you see a list of recent sign-ins to your account. Now, if you don't see anything in Russia, after you click review activity for more details, then you're probably safe assured that it is, in fact, some type of scam. Now, the fact that it made it into your junk email is also a red flag. And then, of course, you're going to look at the return address and the address that it says from. If you actually look at the details for the from address, that's where you can see things like it may have a Gmail account, may have a Hotmail or even AOL or a Proton Mail or Hush Mail or whatever it may be. It's not going to say at Microsoft.com. And it may also say at Microsoft.com with some other letters on the other end. And also in Microsoft, maybe the O is not the letter O, maybe it's a 0. So you kind of have to look at this very, very closely. And then, of course, you look at the links on the bottom. And it used to be that you'd see an email and say, oh, you know what? Let me see. This is probably a scam because, well, it has a lot of typos and the logos don't match and there's no terms and conditions. But, unfortunately, that's not the case anymore. You really have to do your homework. But, be really smart like you are, Sandra. And, you just don't get this email and start clicking because then the next thing that you do, they're going to say, hey, you need to sign into your Microsoft account. And it looks like your Microsoft login page, but it's not. And then you just gave away your credentials, which is a bad, bad thing because then they can get on your account and then they can do who knows what. So the bottom line here is that anytime you get any type of notification in your email from any account, major company, if it looks like a scam, feels like a scam, it probably is. But you can always review login details over at your login page. In this case, it's going to be at account.microsoft.com/security. Sandra, thank you so much for your call today. All right. I thought this money tip would be really great for all of us who are trying to save money lately because it's the best places to find movies, books, audiobooks, and music without spending a dime. So like, for example, you can get free movies. What you don't want to do is ever Google search free movies, by the way, or shows. You're going to end up with junk. There are so many sites out there. There's Crackle. There's Freevee, there's Canopy, there's Pluto TV, there's Tubi TV, there's Peacock, Roku, YouTube TV. They just open up thousands of TV episodes to watch for free, by the way. Free books, of course, you're going to use that Libby app, but there's also the Kindle Store and Project Gutenberg. For free audiobooks, we're going to go to Learn Out Loud, LibriVox, and again, that Project Gutenberg. Free music, you can get free music at YouTube Music, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, and also Amazon Prime Music. And I know I just blew through everything so quickly. You're like, I was trying to write that down. You don't have to write anything down, silly. We want to make things simple for everyone. Just head over to komando.com, and then when you're there, hit the link that says Kim Show. And that tip about the best places to find all that stuff without spending any money is right there at the top of that list. All right, still to come, we're going to talk about a really important thing for your smartphone that you need to do now. Okay, not later, do it now. How you can set your smartphone up to save your life here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, listen, if you're not getting our podcast, make sure that you search for Komando with a K wherever you go online, your favorite podcast player. And this way you can get the podcast Monday through Friday, Kim Komando Today. And then also every single day we have our Daily Tech Update, which is just fabulous. It's one quick news story and one quick life hack. And again, just search for Komando with a K, of course. Paul in Indianapolis.
Hi, Kim. Thanks so much for having me. I just love your show. Every day, WIBC in Indianapolis, or every week, I never miss it. It's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. How can I help you out?
All right. So for a couple of years, my nephew's 13. I've been taking pictures. I have a big Canon camera of his football games, and I run up and down the sidelines. And then I go home, and sometimes on a laptop or sometimes on a Chromebook, I upload the pictures. I edit them on Lightroom. And then what I used to do was upload them. Shutterfly had a sister site. I think it was called Shutterfly Teams, but I don't remember, where I would upload the pictures to, sometimes a couple hundred, and I could organize them by game or by camp or by week. And then the parents all had sent me their emails, and I invited them to the site, and they could download pictures, or sometimes they had calendars, and they had all sorts of cups and books and things that they could make of their son using the football pictures that I took. And Shutterfly has discontinued that sister site. So I'm wondering, number one, is there an app or even another website where I could put the pictures on and the parents can download them? And number two, if there is a site where they could buy some of the souvenirs, that'd be really neat.
That's pretty awesome that you do that. What made you start doing this?
I love my nephew, and I love sports, and he's just a cool little kid. He's a 10-time state champion wrestler. He was the player of the year on his football team, was the lineman. He's won national wrestling titles. He owned the record for his age and weight in powerlifting. We've got golds at Olympic lifting, and he's just a cool little dude.
That is awesome. What a great uncle you are. That's great. Okay, so yeah, Shutterfly, they were moving businesses and things like that. There is a different website. It's called SmugMug. And SmugMug offers a lot of the same things that you were talking about, a variety of products. You can get your mugs, of course. You can get photo books. You can get cards, stationery, Christmas cards, holiday cards, phone cases, keychains, magnets, frames. And then, of course, you can also let the parents download some digital copies of the prints as well. But it does cost. It costs $13 a month, but you get unlimited storage, and then they have a lot of privacy controls, and it does work with Lightroom seamlessly. So I think you're really going to love that. So check out SmugMug. Another site, in case you want to check it out, it's called Zenfolio. I don't know where these names come from, Paul, but that's just the way it is. Again, it's called Zenfolio, and they do pretty much the same thing. I guess apparently, they weren't making a lot of money off of this. And if you really wanted to go full board and not necessarily worry about sharing the photos, you can always make them available on, for example, Cafe Press, which is also pretty interesting. And Amazon also allows you to sell some of these goods if you wanted to as well by just uploading a photo. Let's say you wanted to make just the team logo or the team mascot or something available on any team shirt, or just maybe the whole team available as a book. You could actually sell that on Amazon too, which a lot of people don't realize. But I think what you're looking for is really SmugMug. And then again, Zenfolio would be the option at that point. But what a great thing that you're doing. And I'm telling you, what a wonderful uncle you are. I mean, gosh, this kid's never going to forget you forever. And thanks for your call today, Paul. Let's see. I can squeeze in another caller. I know I can. Monica in Phoenix.
Well, I have some concert tickets that I've been trying to resell, and I posted them on Craigslist, and immediately I got 2 text messages from 2 people just rapidly asking questions and asking me to do a code, back to them to identify that it's safe. But one of them asked me to do a screenshot of the QR code to verify it's a valid ticket. And
no.
And I was very suspicious about it, and especially I was like, this is like timeshare vultures, coming after you. And so I didn't trust it. I don't like being overwhelmed. That's what it was. So anyway, I wanted to know what you had to say about it.
I mean, you could send them a screenshot, but you could block out the QR code and the ticket number. Then the buyer could verify the tickets are legit without having access. But you're right. Once you give them the QR code, all they have to do is just put it in their phone and then beat you to, or whoever you sell the tickets to. And then, yes, they're sitting there jamming out like it's 1999, right?
Oh, okay. All right.
So if you are looking to sell some tickets and you don't want, as you said, a lot of the headaches, the stress, there's 2 sites. One's called StubHub, and the other one's called SeatGeek.
Yeah.
And they have buyer and seller protection to make sure that the transactions are secure, they're legit. StubHub is going to charge you a 15% fee for each ticket. And then SeatGeek is 10 to 20% of the ticket price. Another thing that you could do is that if you are going to sell these on social, or on Craigslist or OfferUp or wherever you're going to sell these things, is that you want to ask the buyer to meet you in person. Okay. And now what's happening is that you can meet at police stations and make sure that you bring somebody else with you just in case.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
This way you exchange the tickets for the money. You could also use PayPal that offers buyer and seller protection. But if these are tickets and you're in Phoenix, they're in Phoenix, I would prefer if you did it in a pub where you actually met the person, say at a police station. Make sure that you bring a friend. So this way they can give you the cash and you take the cash and then you give them the tickets. And then you don't have to worry about getting scammed and then losing out on that sale and then also getting taken. There are just so many scammers in the world. It's crazy. Monica, thank you so much. All right. What concert ticket costs 45 cents? What concert ticket costs 45 cents? Anybody? 50 Cent featuring Nickelback. Yeah, I know. I heard you laugh. There's so many things we can do with our phone, but probably the most important thing is what I'm going to be talking about right now. Because if you set this up the right way, it may save your life. Because emergencies happen when you least expect them, right? So imagine this. You're rendered unconscious. The only thing that you have is your phone. Well, if you have the medical ID set up on your Android or iPhone, someone on the scene can get your important medical details over to first responders so you can get the care that you need, even if your iPhone is locked. So to enable your Android Emergency ID, go to Settings and then select Emergency Information and just put in all your data. On your iPhone, open the Health app with the red heart and then tap the Medical ID in the right corner. Hit Edit and just plop in all of your important information. Any allergies, emergency contacts, medical issues, prescriptions that you're on. Put it all in, save it, and then you're prepared for anything. And remember, you can find a person's emergency info on the lock screen if they need help, and now someone else can see yours too. Hey, tell 3 friends about the show, and you can find me at Komando.com.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
It's the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of April 22nd, 2023. Here's hour 3.
I always like to start with something incredible, and you have to hear this story. There was this guy in Washington, D.C., and he purchased 2 Apple AirTags. He put one on his car keys, and then he hid the other AirTag in his car just in case of emergencies. Well, this past week, a car thief approached him in his driveway and put a gun to his head. Wow, how frightening would that be? And the thief said, "Give me the keys." And then, of course, the guy handed him the keys, and then the thief drove off in his BMW. Now, there was an AirTag on the car keys, remember? So the thief saw that, and he threw it out the window. But there was a second AirTag hidden inside the car. That's right, the police tracked down the thief in about an hour. I'll tell you, those AirTags are just fabulous. I have them on just about everything that I own inside my car as well. But people were reporting that the stolen BMW was just driving around Washington, D.C. How did they know? Unlike other BMW drivers, this thief was using turn signals. That's right. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this. It's America's largest, most trusted show about all things digital. It's called The Kim Komando Show because, after all, quite the quinky dinky. I'm Kim Komando. That's right. Hey, get ready to upgrade your tech game, folks, because everything is a tech thing nowadays, from your coffee mug to your pet's collar. It's just everything's technology, right? And we're stoked to have you with us. And if you're a newbie, hey, welcome. And if you're a regular listener, welcome back. Now, you can find our award-winning show on over 420 top stations from coast to coast, and we are streaming in your favorite radio app. And if you'd like to join the Komando community, come on board. We would love that. Head over to Komando.com and just hit the link that says log in or join. And a special hello goes to our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force, and 175 different countries who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio that serves more than 375,000 incredible servicemen and women. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And just a quick reminder, hey, if you're just too shy to come on the show or podcast, I get that. You can always drop me your question on the website. I read every single one. That's Komando.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. All right, every single day, I go all over the internet to make sure that you're up to date about all things digital. So it's just a nutso thing that I do, so to save you guys and gals time, effort, and energy. And this is part of the show. I like to give you 5 things that you need to know. And starting at number 1, it's a question that I get asked all the time. How do I know if my information is on the dark web? Now, you're not being paranoid. A new study out recently says 25 billion phone numbers, email addresses, credit card details, login details were on sale last year at the dark web. Yikes, I said 25 billion. Now, the dark web isn't part of the internet that you and I go to. It's not indexed. In order to get there, you have to use something called the Onion router that those of us in the know just say Tor. And because you can be anonymous on the dark web, kind of almost, a lot of times, that a lot of criminals hang out there. So you can buy illegal drugs, weapons, hackers, hitmen for sale, kiddie porn. It's just a nasty, bad place. And then there's stolen data from regular folks like you and me. So if you want to see if your stuff is on the dark web, we've talked about it here on the show. I just want to pass it along again. HaveIBeenPwned.com. That's PWNED.com. You just enter your email address, and odds are, I bet you some of your data is for sale on the dark web. What you want to do is make sure that you change your password, turn on 2-factor authentication. And if a financial account was breached, make sure that you freeze your credit too. And let me tell you, I don't know if you know this, but a long time ago, I was once in a band. I was the singer. I was in a band called the Dark Web. We were always on tour. Get it? T-O-R. All right, that wasn't so good. Number 2, this car got recalled 62 times. This is the one you don't want to buy. There's just been a lot of recalls lately. I don't know if you've noticed this. There's Volkswagen and Kia and Hyundai. The list goes on. But there's one brand that gets top spot for all recalled cars. What do you think that brand is? What do you think it is? And if you get bonus points if you can give me the make and the model of that car. All right, coming in at the number one top slot of recalls is Tesla. That's right. Seems like steering wheels are popping off. Workers are spying on customers, and self-driving mode isn't really self-driving mode. The trunk may not close. Just crazy stuff. A new study from IC Cars says the Tesla Model 3, Model Y, Model S, and Model X are 4 of the 5 top most recalled cars. Wow. The next bit of information is kind of staggering. The average car recall is about 4 times in the car's lifetime. So, the Tesla Y. How many times do you think this car is going to be recalled? How many times? Now remember, the average is 4. 62 times. The brands with the least amount of recalls, Toyota and Mercedes. Coming in at number 3, you're going to get 5 new links over on Instagram. Remember, they would only let you have 1 link. Well, now it's changed because now you can have up to 5 links in your Insta profile to share with the world. And so if you need more information about that, we're going to give you all the steps over at Komando.com. Coming in at number 4, your old router has secrets. Researchers went ahead and purchased a bunch of secondhand routers. Guess what they found? 50% of them contained confidential and sensitive information from the businesses and folks that sold them. Nobody bothered to wipe the routers. Okay, that is a rookie mistake, folks, just like you have to go ahead and wipe all the information on your smartphone and your tablet and your TV and your printer and everything else that you may sell or dispose of. You also have to set that router back to factory defaults. It seems like the crooks can buy these routers for just a few $100, then they swipe all the data off of them, then they sell all of that data on the dark web for an average of $2,800. So obviously they're making a pretty sweet profit along the way. So bottom line, make sure that you factory reset any type of router before you get rid of it. And this coming in at number 5, we're going to go back to Tesla. We're going to talk about the Cybertruck. It was announced 3 years ago. I always thought it looked like a 5-year-old drew it. Anyway, Elon Musk they came out and they said, okay, we have a solid delivery date for the Cybertruck. It's at the end of the 3rd quarter in 2023. I did put my name on the list. It's going to be interesting if I can actually get one, because if I can get one, I will actually buy it. I will. Maybe I'll just auction it off on eBay or for you guys and gals. But anyway, Elon Musk has some big words, and he quotes, "One thing I am confident of saying is that it's an incredible product. It is a Hall of Famer." You know, I'm a Hall of Famer, come to think of it. I am in the National Radio Hall of Fame. That's something I never saw coming. But anyway, let's go back to the Cybertruck. It's made out of pure stainless steel. It costs a lot more than your typical steel that's used in car manufacturing. And here's the thing about stainless steel. I don't know if you know this, is that stuff really doesn't stick to it like it does with a regular car that's manufactured with other steel. So fenders can't be stamped into shape like they are done with other car materials. Plus, there's some special welding techniques that come into play. And I also have to wonder, is the truck going to get really hot? I mean, really, really hot. I mean, will people, especially in Phoenix, get burnt just by touching it? I mean, I don't know. I don't get all the hate and sarcasm against the Cybertruck. I mean, think about it. Look at it. All you have to do is slap a minigun right on the back of that Cybertruck, and then it's Halo in real life. That's right. All right, coming up in this hour, we're going to be talking about the robots. Yes, they're coming. And also we have a great tip about organizing, storing, and protecting your photo collection. We're also going to be giving some updates on some smart sprinklers that you might want to check out. And, of course, we have all of your phone calls. You have me, Kim Komando. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And again, just a quick thank you for everybody who's just raving about our brand new newsletters. And you should sign up right now if you're not getting them. Komando.com/subscribe and see what all the fuss is about, why everybody loves them. That's Komando.com/subscribe. All right, Tracy and Maine, welcome to the show today.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for taking my call.
You betcha. What's going on?
Well, I've been on a quest to reduce my monthly cable bill. And I notice on my cable bill that we are paying X amount of dollars for TV receivers. And we have 2 TVs. So my question is, we want to keep the local channel, the news channels, but is there a way to just eliminate the cost of the TV receivers? Because essentially, if I understand my bill correctly, I'm leasing or I'm paying for these receivers, and I'm quite honestly, I'm just want to be done with it, and I just don't know what my options are. The cable company gets more money than I want them to.
Yeah, I know. It's been this whole revolution of cutting the cable. So let's talk about it, and then I'll tell you what some of the downsides are. Okay.
Okay.
So in order to get your local TV channels, is that what you're going to get is an OTA antenna? I know, over the air. Okay. And basically, you connect the antenna up to your TV. Remember, like in the old days, we'd have an antenna on the roof? Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of the same idea. But they are not big and bulky, and they don't have to go on the roof necessarily anymore. And we've got, over on the website, we've got all kinds of our picks for an indoor and outdoor antenna, as well as to give you the link that you can plug in your street address, and then you can see which channels will be available to you before you even put up the antenna. Okay?
Okay.
Then next, we look at streaming devices if we're totally going to cut the cable. And that's when you see things like Amazon Fire TV, Hulu, Sling, YouTube, Apple, Roku, the list goes on and on. And then if you have a modern TV, say one that you purchased in the last couple of years, it may have apps built into it already. Do you have a relatively new TV or not?
We do not. It's 2008, I believe.
You're going to want a new one, probably.
Yes.
Because the newer ones have all these apps built in, and they are built to stream so we can get rid of the cable. So once we get the over-the-air antenna, and then you get a brand new TV, and then that's when you start looking at the programming. What is it that you truly, truly want to watch? Is it sports? Is it is getting Fox News the most important thing to you? And you start kind of fine-tuning what exactly that it is, because on your cable bill, you probably get, 350 channels, and you probably watch 4 of them, right?
Correct.
Okay, so then we need to figure out what are the 4 that we're watching. So you get the antenna, that's for all your local channels, and then we start saying, okay, what is it that I want to watch, and then where is that available? So it becomes a little bit of a process. But then you can totally get rid of your TV, internet, and then while you're at it, you may be getting a landline from your cable company that you don't use anyway. Kim raises her hand right there because my husband was insistent that we have a quote-unquote landline in the house that came through the cable, until I told him, I said, it's costing us like $50 a month, and we never even use it, okay? So I'm like, what are we doing here? So, and then you start looking at the costs, because what happens is if you have to start signing up for all these different services, then you're going to spend $20 for Netflix. You're going to spend on Amazon Prime, you get your Prime Video, and then Hulu Plus is another $10. And then it's just it gets very tedious. So that's why I always try to tell people, just sign up for these services for 30 days, free trial. See if you use it, and then just make a note, cancel it if you don't use it. So you've got a little bit of work to do. Now, until you can pull all this together for yourself, and we've got a lot of tips on the website to help you out, don't worry about that, is that I would call the cable company. And you're such a nice person, Tracy. I would say, when they answer, say, I want to talk to a retention specialist. Okay. Then you get the retention specialist, because they can do deals that the other people can't do. Because it's more cost effective and easier for them to keep a customer like you than to get rid of you and go find a new one, especially today. So I would talk to the retention specialist and say, you know what, I'm just canceling. I don't need this anymore. I don't want it. You can come pick up your receivers tomorrow. Or today, as a matter of fact. And then ask them what they can do to keep you as a happy customer. And they will drop the rate. But at the same time, you're going to start looking at the over-the-air antenna, and you're going to look at the streaming devices. Does this make sense?
It does. We do have Roku. So we
okay.
are
All right.
a little bit familiar with that streaming service. But my husband is so dead set on we need to watch the local news that this has sort of set me on the journey of, okay, let's reduce our cable bill, but still get what we want.
Yeah, well, that local news is going to come on the over-the-air antenna. 100%. That's exactly what you need. So I'm going to put you on hold, and then we're going to shoot you some links over to picking out the right over-the-air antenna. And then for everybody else, if you're listening and if you're curious about this too, just hit the website and type in OTA. That's right, because you are in the know. That's right. You know all the acronyms, and that stands for over the air. Tracy, thank you so much for your call. If you need any additional help, just give us a shout back. You know, I actually looked this up the other day. 20.8% of people have cut their cable. But get this, 87% of all Americans subscribe to at least one streaming service. Wow, almost 90%. You know, from time to time, we get calls from folks who are caregivers, and you're wondering about the best tech that you can use. You know, I can't say hands down, always. I can say hands down, this is always the best solution, the Echo Show. It has a video screen between 5.5 to almost 16 inches. And you're going to need to buy two, one for you and one for your family member. And then once it's set up, all you have to do is what Amazon says is drop in. You can drop in on your loved one. They don't have to pick up the phone, and they can drop in on you. And then there are some other features that Amazon has thrown in for caregivers, like medicine reminders and other types of emergency alerts. And we've got tons of information over at it about all this at Komando.com. All right, stay right where you are. Allie is joining us, and we're talking about the robots here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, it's a question we get asked a lot on the show. How do I organize, get rid of the duplicates of my photo collection? That answer's coming up, as well as still to come. We have more of your phone calls. But joining us right now is our amazing content queen over at Komando.com, Allie Seligman. Hello there, Allie.
Hi, Kim.
Well, you know, the robots are coming. The robots are coming, right? I mean, I know that everybody's all obsessed with artificial intelligence, how it's going to be our demise. But when we start thinking of robots,
yeah,
you know, they've been around, like Spot. That was that dog that was developed by Boston Dynamics. I always love, don't you love those videos about them dancing around?
I do. So cute.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And then we have the robotic chefs that are, you know, like Flippy that can flip burgers and fry food.
Yeah.
Robotic bartenders, the Maker Shaker. But a lot of people are so mad that they put these on cruise ships. Not because they have lost that person, but because the robotic bartender will only give you one shot up to the line.
Right? That's hilarious. Yeah, you need a person that you can tip a little bit more to give you more, huh?
So I asked you to go out and do some research.
Yes.
And to figure out what are some robots, other robots that are here. I mean, did you find one? There are things that I love to do around the house. Whenever I get stressed, and so if you ever hear me say, I wash the kitchen floor, that means that I'm like totally stressed out. If I'm ever stressed out, I don't know why. Maybe it's just something I can feel.
Control.
That it's, yes, and it's done and you look.
Yes.
But there's one thing that I hate, and that's folding laundry. I mean, I hate it. And so, you know what happens? My friend Jo, I'll say, she actually would come over and say, do you have any laundry to fold? I'm like, yes. And she folds my laundry. Yes,
she likes it? Is that her soothing cleaning activity?
Yeah, she loves to fold laundry.
Well, you should go clean her floors, Kim.
Yeah, that's true. I should. Hey, Jo, knock, knock. I'm here to clean your floors. Okay.
Feeling real stressed.
So what kind of robots are out there that we may not be aware of?
Yeah. Speaking of ones in your home, yes, we all know about the Roomba, ones that can vacuum the floor. What about something that can do a little bit more? I absolutely love the Moley. This is a kitchen robot. You can buy this. It's very expensive. I haven't checked in a while. I think like $300,000 at last check.
Oh.
So it's a splurge, but stick with me. It cooks. They trained it to mimic the movements of human hands, so it can do really delicate things. It can crack an egg, which is kind of nuts to think about. It's got these arms that move around. It can make a bunch of different recipes, and it even cleans up. Imagine that, a robot that does the dishes.
You know what, that would be nice. Or you could just call Uber Eats, and have the same thing for say $50 and save a whole bunch of money.
No, I'm going Moley.
That's true.
On the more serious side, so there are some places that people just can't get to safely, right? And so in emergency situations, bots can actually be really beneficial. And this is cool because we're not just talking about like, oh no, robots stealing our jobs. This is like robots doing things that normally we wouldn't want to put people in those circumstances because it's so dangerous. There's one called Atlas. It can lift heavy weights. It can run, open doors. It can even do like backflips. It's really agile. It aids in emergency services. So when search and rescue operations need a robot to go in somewhere that's too dangerous for a person, they can send an Atlas, which is really cool.
You know what? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've also heard about bots being used in fighting fires, really bad fires where...
I was just going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Honest gosh, we're like so on target here. Because I was saying, well, what about fires? And then you're like, oh, let me tell you about fires.
Yep,
yes.
There are bots that do fires too. For a while, there has been, this resurgence, or there's been this surge in tech in farming, right? It's crazy. You think about farmers and maybe you don't think high tech people. Nope.
Right.
You'd be wrong. They are using probably more tech in their day-to-day lives and in their businesses than you are. Maybe not you, Kim, but everybody else. There is something called the Bug Vacuum. This one is fun. It's a self-propelled vacuum cleaner. And it goes through the crops on farms, and it sucks up all the bugs so that they don't eat them.
Really?
Yeah. This way they don't have to use, pesticides and a bunch of other chemicals. Just send the little bot out there. The farmer just has to get it started, and then it goes into auto mode. This also works well there are some insects that are resistant to pesticides. So it can get those things too. And, better than going out there with a sandal and thwacking them, right?
But, I wonder if it has to be like a certain size crop as far as, because I'm thinking like, what if it was like berries? Like it couldn't work on like blackberries.
It would suck up all the berries.
Yes, exactly.
I'll say these things are really smart. I saw a video. We should put this up on the website again. I saw a video of a bot that they trained to pick things like little baby cherry tomatoes, even berries. And it didn't crush the fruit. It didn't get anything that wasn't ripe. It even looked for the colors to see, is this ripe yet? So it knew, okay, if it's green, don't get it. If it's really light pink, not yet. If it's purple, it's ready, which is crazy,
That's amazing.
Right?
You know what? Let me know when you put that up because I want to watch that myself.
I will, yeah.
That's a good one.
On the health side, we've got a couple good ones. Moxie, you might remember that name at the beginning of the pandemic when, we didn't know what would happen if nurses and doctors were the ones cleaning hospitals, giving people their medications, all that stuff. Moxie came in, started delivering medication, would deliver PPE to doctors and nurses, comfort patients, bring things to patients, which is pretty darn cool. Moxie can do all that stuff, but really funny note, it can't push the buttons in an elevator, so it has to have a person do it for it. Oh, Moxie.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Maybe they just didn't really think about that. They were too busy thinking about the other stuff. One that I also love, we all know hospitals are not the most comfortable, cozy places. They can be a little scary. One thing that I never would have thought about, people need to be moved in hospitals a lot, and that's a hard job. You need, that's tough. Yeah, tough on the nurses and the doctors. In larger hospitals, they have put in something called Robear, which is a teddy bear-shaped robot that can lift patients out of a bed into a wheelchair. So that way, people don't have to do it. It's a little bit easier and perfectly comfortable for the people. So if you ever see Big Robot, a bear at a hospital, that's why.
You know what? That one makes perfect sense because, when my mom was at MD Anderson and after surgeries or whatever, it was always really hard, because they always, after a surgery, they always want to get you like out of that bed into that chair.
Yes.
To get the blood pumping again, right?
Yeah.
And that I was always like, I was so afraid that they were going to drop her or something like that for some reason, but they never did. Thank goodness. But,
no, and they're well trained, but this is, saves everybody a little bit of effort, and that the robot is going to have no trouble lifting a person, whereas who knows what could happen with people, right?
Okay, so now this list of robots, we're going to put that in. Is it coming in Monday's newsletter? Is that right?
It sure is. So if you get the current tech news, you will see this. And even better, it's fun to talk about these things, right? You're probably envisioning them, but you can see them. We are putting together a video that has clips of all these different robots so you can see what they look like, what they're doing in action. Again, Mondays, current tech news. So make sure you're signed up if you are not. Komando.com/subscribe. It's a great newsletter. You're going to like it.
Okay, here, I have a joke for you about robots before you leave.
Okay. Uh-oh.
All right, okay. There was a giant steel robot that had one job. That one job was to protect the city. Now, one day when it was raining, some of the screws on the robot got rusty and fell off, causing one of its legs to fall off entirely. Now, when the leg fell off, it crushed the city that it was meant to protect. Oh, the irony. I know that's
no.
Okay, all right, I know that was bad. Hey, Al, great job as always,
Thanks,
and appreciate you being here. And to subscribe, once again, you head over to komando.com/subscribe. All right, we put together this whole guide to organizing, storing, and protecting your photo collection because I know you have a lot of photos that you don't know what to do with. And you have to get photos. Like, for example, you want to make sure that you have all your Facebook photos. You want to digitize all your old photos. And you want to make sure that you have enough storage. And then you want to find the duplicates. Like, for example, there's the Remo Duplicate Photos Remover. If you're on your iPhone or Mac, they also have it built into Photos. And for Windows, you want to get Duplicate Cleaner. So if you are sitting there with a mess of photos trying to figure out what the heck to do with them, head over to the website and you can find a tip that's called Guide to Organizing, Storing, and Protecting Your Photo Collection for free. Again, that's all at komando.com. All right, still to come, we have some updates on smart speakers and more of your phone calls you don't want to miss. Art in Florence, South Carolina. Hello there, Art.
Well, my wife and I, we're downsizing, and we have decided to move to a rural section of our state. And where we're moving to, there's no internet access from the cable providers. And so I was really hoping that maybe you could give us some good ideas about way we can bring in some decent internet, because we don't do a lot of stuff on the internet, but we do streaming on TV, and we also like to work from home from time to time. So we remote into our businesses and would like to do that. So is there a good recommendation that you could provide that would allow us to have some sort of decent coverage?
Well, you need to get a ladder.
Okay.
And then you need to stand on the ladder and hold a hanger up high. No, just teasing. No, that would not be it.
That's not it.
You have one average option, and then you have one great option. Okay. The average option is that you're going to use the cell phone to provide a mobile hotspot.
Right.
But my concern is that you said a couple of key things. Number one, streaming, and then you threw a curveball that says, yeah, and we're still going to want to work from time to time and remote in.
Right.
Okay. Probably not the best idea for you to use that, whether it's a Verizon Jetpack or AT&T or T-Mobile, because you're just going to have way too much going on. What I'd like you to look at is Starlink. Have you ever heard of Starlink?
Yeah, I have. As a matter of fact, I sent a tweet to Elon and asked him to please provide coverage for our area, but he hasn't responded.
Honest to goodness, did you type in your zip code there and there's no coverage?
Yes.
Wow, that's surprising to me because I thought he had pretty much all of North America covered, because I'm using Starlink on my boat. I'm using it on my house, and I'll tell you, it works in 2 homes, and it works like fantastico. I mean, it's great.
Well, I can go back and double check, but the last time I typed in the zip code for it, or typed in our zip code, it showed as service not provided yet. And but
well, maybe it's not. Maybe you can, at that point, well, I would type in and then I give them my email address to say when you do get to town, because they will notify you that when they do get into that part of the country, they'll do that. And just to let you know, Starlink, it's the gear is about $500, and then it's $110 a month, and literally, when you can get this, is that you just give yourself like 10 or 15 minutes and it's up and running, literally.
Awesome.
It's not like, I have to go string this cable, I've got to go configure this, and then I got to go hook up to the network. I'm like, when I put it together, I was like, this is sweet.
Yeah.
This is nice. Okay, so now what you're looking at is maybe Hughes satellite.
Okay.
which is pretty expensive compared to Starlink, and it does have some latency. Well, Starlink does too, but that's pretty much your only option at this point. If you can try the cellular, if the cellular might work for you. They have contract and pay-as-you-go plans, and so you just have to pick the one that fits your budget and fits your needs. But if that barring the case and Starlink's not there, then you're probably going to look at Hughes. What about
something like a LTE router? Like I think there was one called a Mophie or something like that. I've seen some stuff on YouTube about LTE routers, and I didn't know if that would be an option. And they started talking about.
You're going to use it. You're going to use a cellular connection for that.
Okay.
And then the router's just going to disperse it throughout the house, kind of like what we're talking about with a mobile hotspot.
Okay, I understand.
And so it's pretty much the same thing depending upon that cell coverage. And what you can do at that point is that you may be able to get a cellular repeater from your provider. It may or may not be available in your area, but if you're only getting 2 or 3 bars, bottom line here, is that what you want to do, Art, is call the provider and say, listen, I got 2 or 3 bars. I need to get 5 bars into the house. So how can we, how can I get a repeater so that this way I can get all the coverage that I'm paying for and that you promised me?
Right.
And that's the key.
Okay.
You're paying for certain coverage. So the whole goal is that you speak to a supervisor, and if you complain loud enough, they may be able to give you that repeater for your house. It's actually called a femtocell, if you want to know the technical term, and that can increase that coverage so that this way you can use that cell as your whole internet access and streaming good things like that. Just make sure you always make sure that the data limits, because I don't want you to get into any overage charges depending upon your plan. Yeah, all of America should have access to fast broadband service, and I know that a lot of administrations before and the current one, that's a big ask that they are working on. There's a way to keep your garden blooming and your lawn green and actually slash your water usage by like 30%. I'm talking about these fancy smancy smart sprinklers. They can save up to, per household, 15,000 gallons of water a year. So these smart sprinklers are really awesome because they automatically water your lawn based on water conditions and soil moisture. So they kind of know when to water. So for example, if it's raining, it's not going to waste water on your grass. Plus, it's smart enough to accommodate local watering restrictions, so you're not going to break any rules. Now, some good smart sprinklers to start off with, I would look at Moen. They have something called the Smart Sprinkler Controller. They're not an advertiser. It's the one that I actually use. And they have independent zone control and scheduling. You can customize how and when you water each part of your yard. Hey, do me a solid and make sure that you tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show. And knowledge is power. You can find me always at Komando.com.